What up? What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. It's NBA Talk with Jay. You dig what I'm saying? We back. It's Tuesday. We had a little day off, but hey, we had to regroup, relax, and get back on the grind. You know what I'm saying? Guess who we have with us today, man? It's Tuesday. It's not much. It's basically Monday, first day of the NBA week. We have the GOAT himself, man, Mr. Rob Vino, the absolute legend, man. I love when you come on the show, Rob. Love breaking down games with you, my brother. What's up with you, Rob? Everything cool with you?
Everything's good, Jay. Thanks for having me today on Tuesday. Like you say, we had an empty slate yesterday because of the NCAA tournament game. The NBA won't go up against them. So, hey, we get a lot of games today, and this is it, right? This is the final push, the last 3 games or so until the playoffs.
Yes, sir, man. Final little push. The top teams, not a ton to play for. Some other teams still having some things to play for. The tanking teams, they're ready for vacation. But let's get to it, man. I do want to let you know it's $2 Tuesday over there at Wager Talk, my guys. Andy Lang has a big $2 prop play for you guys over there. And also, if you want to go to Sports Memo as well, obviously on Tuesday, they always have the 3 cappers, 3 best bets for only $5. You get Teddy covers, Joe D, and John Ryan. 3 plays for $5, or you go to Wager Talk $2 Tuesday every Tuesday. Top 5% play, Andy Lang prop play over there. But like as always, the show's sponsored by Wager Talk. Rob Vino's from over there as well. Let's get into some business though, man. It's all business here. Huge slate of games, Rob. Let's get straight into it, man. First game up, we're going to the streets of Orlando here. We have the Magic here getting 8.5 points at home. I just saw that there won't be any Cole Anthony in this game. I believe Gary Harris as well. I believe Wendell Carter Jr. is still out as well here, Mr. Vino. So what do you think? The Cavs are the team that have a lot to play for here. Would you think that this is too many points for them to lay, or you think a little smack city spot here?
Well, we may be paying a little premium, but that doesn't mean they can't cover it, Jay. The odds maker knows. You said it in your intro. You talked about tanking teams. Let's throw Orlando right in that list because I realized Cole Anthony did get hurt in the first 3 minutes of that game the other day, so he's probably legitimately hurt. But the Gary Harris situation, and today he's listed as personal. It was, coach's decision available. So Orlando was choosing just not to play Gary Harris, who probably decided, you know what, I'm done with this. So they don't really want to win. We know what Cleveland's problem has been, right, since the Evan Mobley injury. They've had to change styles, and we see that reflected, Jay, in these totals. Today it opens 214.5. Now it's 221.5. 7-point push toward over because Cleveland's playing a different way. I'll say this real quick. Last 2 games, bettors have played them the same exact way, but the games have landed on 220. So I wonder if this isn't the limit here, 221.5. You missed the boat if you wanted to play over, so I think you should get out. I wouldn't begrudge you if you still wanted to play Cleveland. I do think Orlando's a team that could care less about winning games. They're 2-8 against the spread last 10, and that's what counts to us, right, against the spread. And Cleveland is still out there playing hard for JB Bickerstaff.
Exactly. That's a good point there. Yes, Cavs are nothing for me here. I like the look from my guy, Mitch Armstrong here, guys. If you've been watching the Cavs, Moses Brown is their starting center right now. He's playing for a contract. Young guy. He has some potential as well, and he's clogging up the paint, getting boards for him, and he's getting some lobs from Darius Garland as well. So that's a sneaky good look by you there in the chat, Mitch Armstrong. I always like to say, man, this is a community. It's a betting community. We're all trying to get some cash together. Post those plays in the chat, man. You might have something that you're looking towards, you know what I'm saying, more than I am. Team total overs, some spreads, some player props as well, guys. 3-point props. Post your plays in the chat. We're all trying to cash together. David liking the Cavs trifecta spot. It's Cavs the only way I can look in this one, especially with the Magic not having Cole Anthony, arguably one of their best offensive players. Then I know last game they had Franz Wagner. He was questionable. He's one of their better guys as well. So when you're trying to tank, you're going to sit out the guys that give you a chance to win. And like I say, these bottom tier teams, the Magic have 20 wins on the season. They're not trying to win games right now. So even though you're paying a premium with the Cavs, that's the only way that I can look in this one. Cavs worth a little something. Put a little side. I know a lot of people like to build the money line parlays, man. The Magic are one of those teams that don't want to win right now. It's really that simple, guys. So it's either I'm fading them or I'm staying off the game. Let's go over here to the streets of Indiana here. We have the Pacers here getting 11.5 points versus the Sixers here, Rob. We know the Sixers, they are on the road. This Pacers defense is not good. Let me just say that. Whatever you want. We know that Joel Embiid and Harden are not on the injury report here, Rob. Embiid's going for the MVP. He's going to be trying to pad some stats. There's not a single person on Indiana that can even remotely come close to stopping Embiid. Guys like Harden might even get off tonight, Rob. I'll tell you what I did here. I took 76ers first quarter and first half team total over. We finna start rocking these team total overs, Rob. What you like here? You like anything here? Could you talk me off that? I know you like the over. I know you do.
Here's what I like before I talk about the over. I looked at this injury report this morning, right, Jay? First thing, I'm going through injury reports, and I looked at the Indiana injury report, and the first thing I thought of was you. And I'll tell you why I thought of you. I see TJ McConnell listed as questionable. And the first thought that came to my mind was you. I felt like I'm going to do my best J money right now. What the fuck we doing here? What? TJ McConnell? Are you kidding me? With 2 days left in the season, you're going to all of a sudden make him questionable? Seriously, what the fuck we doing here with this?
Right.
It's crazy with these rosters, right? I mean, every time I come on with you, we go over this stuff. Watch the injury report. You'll see who wants to play and who doesn't. And in fact, the two of us had to kind of explain that to our good friend and colleague Teddy Covers last week. We had to explain to him why Houston doesn't want to win. Listen, it's a one-way ticket for me where Indiana's concerned, and that is over. Their last 4 games, the totals that their games have produced: 238, 251, 243, 255. They're going to get theirs. They're competitive in that respect, Jay. They're going to score. Halliburton's a beast. Buddy Hield can still shoot, and they're going to get points. But Philly's going to score at will because Indiana will allow that. So for me, I think, the total has moved 3.5 points. I don't think it's enough. And boy, I asked the question this morning on Wager Talk today of an ex-bookmaker, Dave Sherpen. I said, how do these bookmakers handle these totals? They come out with a number, and the last couple of weeks, that number just gets erased and pushed 5-6 points, and these games just keep going over. So for me, it'll be Philly, Indiana over the total tonight.
Yeah, my plays are right there with you, Rob. I took Philly first quarter team total over 32.5. I took Philly first half team total over 63.5. This is one where, even though I think they smack them up, I don't even care about the spreads in this one. I know I'm rooting for 76ers points. We know Embiid's gonna hit the floor probably about 5 times, but he's also probably gonna get 50 points in this game. Harden, like I say, guys like Harden probably even go off here. So yeah, give me Philly team total. Let's go. I've been starting to get on these team totals, man. I bet a bunch of them today too, but I need to cash this one. Sixers first quarter team total over 32.5. First half team total over 63.5. That goes right there with your over as well, Rob. And I believe that the Pacers, they've been actually trying to score some points as well of their own. They have lost 6 straight games, but you see the Pacers games, they're scoring. They're just letting opponents score a lot more. Man, they're not even really giving energy to defense. All of the energy is going to the offensive end. See a fast-paced game here should be a smack city spot for the Sixers in this one, my guys. Wouldn't talk you off first quarter or first half. Might have sprinkled a little bit on them too, man. Can't even lie to you. But let's go over here to the streets of Toronto here, Rob. We got the Raptors here laying 4 versus the Hawks. This is a tough game for me. Raptors coming off a bad loss. They took money out of my pocket. I had them versus the Heat up 10 at the end of the first half and pissed that one away. Now the Hawks, Rob, they're playing some of their best basketball of the season. I'm scared to go against this Hawks team, even on the road. They're even Trae Young, little gimpy. They're playing some of their best basketball of the season, and I don't bet against teams like this. So this is a tough one for me. I could literally see it going either way, Mr. Vino.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see how this injury report shakes out, right? I hate to have Bogdanović and Gallinari both out. Give me one without the other. I'm okay with that, but take them both away from me, and I think that limits them a little bit scoring-wise, but I'm with you. Atlanta, and Trae Young spoke about it at the start of the year. Not real interested in this regular season stuff. Let's just get on with it. And now it's getting down to where these games are meaningful, and Atlanta's playing real well. I didn't happen to catch a bunch of that Toronto game the other day, so I defer to you on this, but I would say that they were going really good with their starting 5 back in, and OG Anunoby doesn't play in that game.
Right.
And it seems to have made a difference. I'm not sure. He's listed on that injury report again tonight. I think at least the last time I looked. You could fill me in on whether you thought he made – I mean, obviously he makes a difference, right? He's a great player. But I'm with you. I'm kind of at a crossroads here. Don't really like the total, although I've been making a pretty good penny on Atlanta overs up until the Brooklyn game. where that game stayed under. It was a real high price, got close, didn't quite get there. Here we're looking at 226. I don't think the people know what to do with this game yet, Jay, because this is the one game on the board that really remains solid. 4-226. There's no money action either way. That's kind of the way I feel.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. Yeah, man, they set OG. They did it for Lowry in their game, Rob. What are we doing? I know Lowry's come back to the house, man, but you can't piss the game away just for him. They got the top seed in the East already, man. I was pissed when they rested OG. I knew some stuff was going on then, but they still played a good game and then pissed it away in that third quarter, fourth quarter. But it happens, man. But the Raptors they could bounce back here. Like, I could see it. Especially they've been at the house for a little while as well. It's just what's really keeping me off. The Hawks are really starting to streak and starting to play their best basketball of the season going into their playing tournament, and they have a lot to play for as well. They have the opportunity to move up in the standings as far as like get the 8th or 7th seed to where they only have to win one game for that to get into the playoffs rather than win the 2. I mean, why would you want to be in 9 or 10 where you have to win 2 games other than 1? So Hawks still have all the motivation in the world. This is a tough game for me, guys. OG I think he's questionable, so he could suit up. It's a tough one for me. I can see it going either way. Toss up type game. I stay off. Let's go over here. What are we doing here, man? We got the Nets here open up at 18 points favorites down to 17. A lot of people liking the Rockets today, and I understand why. And I can tell you that this team doesn't play a lick of defense. One thing I would be looking at as far as the Rocket side, Jalen Green, he really has been showing that he's trying to go for 30 every night. He's trying to score. He's shooting 10 threes a night, and he's been making 3 or 4 of them just about every game. So over 3.5 threes for Jalen Green. I couldn't talk you off. I believe his points prop is somewhere around 23 and a half. I would not talk you off. Even if they're down 30 points, Jalen Green is still in the game, and he's only out there for offense. This guy's one of the worst defenders in the league. This Rockets team, period, Rob. I've been trying to find ways to fade them. I'd like to take Nets team total over in this game. First quarter, first half, full game. It's the only way I could look. Don't like that Seth Curry is out, though, right? And Kyrie Irving with the whole Ramadan thing, he's not eating. He's not fully healthy right now, although he's still playing. So you need KD to basically go out there and get 50, 60 for you, which could happen. But it's not a tough enough opponent for me, Rob. But I do see the Nets possibly putting up 130 here. You like something?
Yeah, they could probably name it because, again, like Indiana, Houston's one of those that won't stop you from getting it, right? But the other thing that Houston does, and we saw Josh Christopher go for 30 points the other night. I mean, this young core, the backcourt of Porter Jr. and Green, certainly putting up points as of late. In their last 10 games, Jay, they haven't been beaten by 17 points but twice. So 8 of 10, as bad as they are, they come within this number, and sometimes a lot closer. So they're competitive from an offensive standpoint. They want to get you into a shootout. If they're making shots, they're probably going to stay with you. I don't know how much the Nets really want to, buckle down on defense here. Mm-hmm. But again, your point about Atlanta and that playoff seeding, Brooklyn's in that same boat, right? They're a game behind Atlanta. They're trying to get into that 8 slot somehow, some way. That loss the other day was brutal for them to lose to Atlanta. They tried as hard as they could in that game and couldn't get there. I won't play side here. I wouldn't recommend laying 17 in this instance. I really wouldn't. I think it's probably way too many. Houston's shown they can stick with. But the total is now up to 245. And we saw Houston, Minnesota go 271 or something the other day. So, I mean, it's very possible. I'm off in most respects. I could get interested in Brooklyn team total, though I do think they're going to absolutely score what they want to score here. Yeah,
they should against the Rockets defense, you can do whatever you want. They don't really have a center, not a real paint presence down there. Sengun, however you say his name, he's not a bad guy as far as offensive, but defensively, you can get whatever you want versus these guys. Even with Christian Wood in there, you get whatever you want. Now you got Garuba and Sengun. So I see the Nets getting whatever they want. I know Curry's been out for a couple games, but he's still like one of their third best offensive contributors. See what I'm saying? So missing Seth Curry is still tough for the Nets over there because I'd like for them. And look, it's Dragic. I believe I saw Dragic out too. He's in health and safety protocols, right? If I'm not mistaken. So you have 2 of their point guards that are out. So that's what obviously it's going to be high for a reason. Nets team total over is the only thing I could be looking. First quarter, first half, full game. I didn't bet it, guys. 2 main offensive guys out. But like I said, against that Rockets defense, man, Olay defense, You got to find some type of way to fade their defense, guys. Wouldn't talk you out of some Nets team totals in that one. KD should go bunkers in this one. Probably a no defense type of game, man. Let's go over here to the streets of Miami here, Rob. I heard you on Wage Talk today. Would you let the people know what you like in this spot, man? A lot of people in the chat agree with you as well.
Yeah, I laid the case out for Miami in this one, Jay. And again, the concern is Kyle Lowry sits on that injured list. But let me just say that the NBA was off yesterday, right? So Kyle Lowry got a day of rest there. And Miami doesn't play a game for another 2 days after this. So he's going to catch 2 more days of rest. If Miami wins this game, they clinch the Eastern Conference #1 spot. They own all the tiebreakers over the 3 teams chasing them. They own it over Boston, Philly, and Milwaukee. So it's win and then get your rest, in my mind. We'll see. These teams could do it differently. Who knows? But I'm leaning toward Kyle Lowry playing. And Miami has been so red hot from 3 lately, Jay. 67 threes in the last 4 games. We know they've got a multitude of those guys. Max Strus, the most recent one to really light it up lately. But they've owned the season series against this team. They're 3-0 against Charlotte. Mm-hmm. And in all 3 games, Charlotte has not been able to shoot over 40%. If Charlotte can't shoot over 40%, they're in trouble because their defense isn't that great. Miami, we saw that flare up, right, on the sidelines with Haslam. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people thought that was an indication of bad things to come, but it really hasn't been for the Heat. They're 3-0 last 3 against the spread. They're 4-0 straight up. And in those last 3 games against Eastern Conference playoff teams, Boston, Chicago, Toronto, their plus minus where field goal percentage is concerned. This margin, it's really a key number when I handicap, but they were plus 9.7 field goal percentage, plus 10.7, plus 6.9. When you're shooting that much better than your opponent, offense, defense wise, it's a big deal. They're playing good offensively. They're playing good defensively. I know Eric Spoelstra is not going to be on the sidelines, but he wasn't on the sidelines in that game the other day when Toronto pissed it away, right? But I think Miami's probably the right side. I think this game is holding at 5.5 because bettors are waiting on what's going to happen with Lowry. Yeah. And if you don't get him, Jay, let me just add this real quick, because if you don't get him, Gabe Vincent, the backup point, isn't playing here either. Probably puts the ball in the hands of Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. So that's why I think Lowry's going to go here. I don't think Miami's going to give this one away. I think they want to clinch and get it done with.
That's it. You made some good points here, Rob. I would like to ask you, would you still play it if there was no Lowry? I would like to ask you that.
I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't, Jay. I don't think the ball handling is good without the 2-point guards. Now, that being said, we've seen all season long that Miami's been good through injuries. They've probably been hit by injuries more than anybody. And that's not knowing where the line would go to. Let's say Kyle Lowry's announced out and this game goes down to 3. Would I play it at 3? Sure, I would. I would still play Miami home at 3 because they've dominated season series. So we'll see what happens with the number here.
You know what? So look, there's a ton of guys on the injury report here. So I'm going to start with that. I'll start with, I don't think that Lowry's playing, but just me getting my little inside info from the day before, I don't think Lowry's playing. They have him listed, like at first they had him listed with like some type of soreness, right?
Yeah.
Now they have him listed questionable as far as rest. The beat writers, in my opinion, the Miami beat writers are suspecting Lowry to take a day off tonight. You see, they rested Butler and Tucker and some guys, and Butler's in, but PJ Tucker and Dedmon, those guys are still on the injury report. So I feel like if Lowry's out, but the other guys are still in, this line still will stay around 5.5, if not still go up a little bit with the because they still have like 4 guys on the injury report right now. So it's kind of crazy, right? And I like talking games out with you. They'd have 3 games left, and the last one is obviously the Magic, where they don't want to win. Right. So I just feel like if the Heat only need one more game to win to clinch it, why don't they're gonna play their guys? But I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't see the Heat going balls to the wall like we absolutely must need this game. I do think that the Hornets are the more motivated team here. You said it. They have triple revenge, but that last game went to double overtime. They should have won that game. It was some crazy late foul calls, some late BS that the coach was talking about in some interviews yesterday. He was like, I won't go into it, but yeah, we're still pissed from that double overtime loss. We weren't supposed to lose that game. So they've lost all 3. They got the triple revenge. Just to read off a quote from, and like you said, Eric Spoelstra won't be out there as well. So the backup coach is saying, quote, we're trying to make the best decisions for players and the team going forward, end quote. That's based on like as far as resting guys towards the end of the season here. So it's I actually like the Hornets here plus the 5.5. It's a very unpopular opinion, but I feel like that the Hornets are the more motivated team here. Nobody likes this play, and I must say, I always say, guys, you don't have to ride with me. If you like the Heat, take the Heat. I know a lot of people like them in the chat. For me personally, the way I'm doing my capping and my research in this game, it looks like the Hornets want this game more. They're catching points as well. They're not as great a team on the road. The Heat can stifle them defensively, but I don't think that we get the Heat's best defensive effort here, guys. So I hope that makes sense. If the Heat coming out here just lackadaisical, let's just go play this game. The Hornets have the ability to run anybody off the floor. Obviously, you come in and play top-tier defense, they can get crushed. But I do feel like they are the team that wants this game more. They're getting 5.5, some room where they can still lose the game and cover. They're 11-3-1 against the spread last 15, playing on 2 days rest. 5-1 ATS last 6 road games as well. So I did put a little something on the Hornets here, plus the 5.5, guys. I don't suspect that Lowry plays the game. Anything can happen, but I think that the Heat maybe rest a couple guys here, still get the rest of their guys like Oladipo get their feet wet. They could still smack them, but I will take the points in what I think is the more motivated teams. Not a huge play, but I think the Hornets get this one, my guys. Triple revenge spot. They want to salvage at least one of these games versus the Heat. With that last one, they showed that they can hang with them too. So no Larry here. I definitely see the Hornets having a chance to win, guys. Sorry for having so much, but kind of like that game, man.
Hey, Jay, real quick, I could add to your case. They're coming off a 30-point loss. Exactly. Right, they lost 144 to 114. Gordon Hayward's back. However, in the words of James Borrego, he said it's going to take a minute before we get him fully into things. You talked about how good they've been with rest, and in the overtime game that you spoke of, for Charlotte to make matters worse, that was a back-to-back for Charlotte. Miami was rested. Charlotte was on back-to-back in double overtime and got it that close. So there's points to be made for the Charlotte side as well.
Appreciate that, Rob. I appreciate it, man. Let's see what happens. I put a little something on them, plus 5.5. Let's go to the next game here. We got the Wolves here, laying 12 at home versus the Wizards, Rob. I'd like to get on the Wolves here, Smack City spot. Unfortunately, they're coming back home off of a little road trip. They only went 2-2, but it was a nice long 4-game road trip, I believe, like 4-game, 8 days, something like that. Now your first game back at the house, laying double digits. Wizards don't have a lot to play for. As the Wolves, the only way I can look in this, I want to try to get on some team totals or something in this one as well. What do you think about this one, Rob?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you, why you go get on a team total here. The Timberwolves are crazy, Jay. I think that they're showing us right now with this late season push offensively, and they're one of the teams I spoke of earlier where you just can't make totals high enough anymore. But they're showing us what their idea, what their philosophy is going to be in the playoffs. They're going to go out there and they're going to try and outscore you. It's no different than that philosophy in football or any other sport. They feel their best way to win games is to just score more than you can. And they're doing it. They're good at it. They did it to Denver the other night, right? 136-131, I believe, up there. That was a 267 game, followed up by a 272. I like the over in this game. I think any time where you can have two teams where you just have the balls out there and let them go. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has been on fire lately. I know our good buddy and colleague Andy Lang has a player prop today on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He thinks he's going to do well once again. So Washington has played, for a team that's been eliminated, played fairly well as of late, right? They're covering some games. But I think Minnesota, again, I think the question in my mind is always, how much do you think the opponent can get to? This game is listed at 237.5. Do I think Washington can get to 115? Absolutely. I think Washington can get to 115. If they get there, this game goes well over because Minnesota's getting to 125 on anybody right now. So I like it over. I think you could get involved if you want to, team total, some way, shape, or form, and you could cash here in this game. I don't know what the numbers are, but again, Minnesota's just, it's a one-way ticket. We're finding that at the end of the season here with a lot of sides where teams are concerned and a lot of totals where teams are concerned. We have our favorites as to how we're going to play them, and Minnesota's showing me that they're going to fill my bank account if I play over, so I'm going to play over.
Yeah, let me look at some first quarter team totals for the Wolves. That's on. I wouldn't even like that first quarter, especially with their first home game. But I know that the Timberwolves are a team that loves to play at the house. So while this is their first game back at the house off of a 4-game road trip, they couldn't wait to get back home. They love playing in front of this crowd. I saw Carson Towns tweeting out like Minnesota, we're on the way. So their first quarter team total is at 32.5, 33. First half is should be like 63. Yeah, 63.5. So basically the same spreads as the 76ers here. That would be my lean to this game. First quarter, first half, and full game trifecta spot team total for the Wolves here, where you don't really care about the spread. You don't care about them blowing them out. You just need them to score points, and that's what they do as well. I know that Beverly likely won't be in this game, so be less defense and even more offense there. Russell is starting to get back hot as well. That's what you need. Russell, Carnthony Towns, and Anthony Edwards, easy baskets at the paint. Porzingis can't guard the paint. He'll probably get dunked on by Anthony Edwards, and Cats can do whatever he wants against some paper plate over there. So yeah, I'd be looking at T-Wolves trifecta team total spot once again, guys. That's the only way I could look at this one. Let's go over here to the streets of Chicago. We have Zach LaVine is listed question in this game. You got the Bucks here, land 6 versus the Bulls. It's a tough one for me here. Do the Bucks still have motivation for the rest of the season? We know that the Bulls, they're trash versus these top tier teams. Rob, you like some here?
Yeah, this is interesting, Jake, because we've got a lot of season history to go on, right? They played 3 times. Now, the most recent time within a couple of weeks ago, I happened to be on Milwaukee, and they destroyed Chicago. But the first 2 games were not destructions. They were really, really close. And to the Bulls' disadvantage, the last 2 times they played Milwaukee, they've had to do it in back-to-back situations with, an injury list. Patrick Williams and Alex Caruso and whatnot. And they had to come back-to-back. The most recent one was really the one where they were just dead from the opening tip. But here they have rest. What worries me is Milwaukee comes off that loss to Dallas on Sunday, and Milwaukee will be in full force for this contest. Zach LaVine, of course, if you don't have him, it was interesting this morning, Jay, just watching this line rise.
Right.
Open 3.5, gets to 4.5, 5.5, then 6, then finally the LaVine stuff comes out. So people knew a little bit ahead of time what may be in store here, but he always seems to be in this position where injury is concerned. Again, it's a guy who's had some rest. I don't know how hard they'll push him. The Bulls have kind of faded their way down, but they are tied with Toronto between 5 and 6. I think Chicago's holding the tiebreaker is the only thing keeping them above water right now where Toronto's concerned. So they probably do need it in some way. Milwaukee, are they pushing for the 2 spot? Again, there's a very, very outside chance they could get to 1, but Miami would have to lose everything. Milwaukee's the far better defensive team if they want to play defense. And I just feel like off of that loss to Dallas Sunday, Milwaukee motivation is probably too much. However, all that being said, I don't think I want to lay 6, Jay, because I watched the first 2 games between these two. And if Chicago's got their pieces, they can score with these guys. And those weren't even high-scoring games. They were low-scoring games, the first 2. Chicago at home, I don't know. I don't like their current form whatsoever. I'll tell you that. Exactly. If you're betting current form, you're not betting the Bulls in any way, shape, or form. So it's probably Milwaukee or nothing for me.
Man, in theory, so the Bucks coming off 2 straight losses. In my opinion, not a ton of motivation. Like, even though they're playing their guys, I just don't see why they would be going balls to the wall for wins this late in the season, especially a team that knows they just need to get in the playoffs. The rest can take care of itself. You need to beat teams. It doesn't matter on their home floor or on the road. So and they have the Celtics on deck as well in a couple of games. It's just usually, I'll be honest with you, Rob. I know it's really hard to beat a team 4 straight times. The Bucks, I can't bet the Bulls because they don't show up versus top tier teams. This is their 3rd straight home game. We still have Caruso pissed off at Grayson Allen, so obviously the Bulls are going to try to have something extra. But with LaVine he was probably at first, then downgraded to questionable, probably won't play in this one. Tough game for me, man. I'm staying away from it. Worried about the motivation for both squads here. Let's go over here to the streets of Denver here. Could go hit the dispensary, Rob. The Nuggets, talking about a lie going up. This one was at, I believe, 8. There's more 7. It opened up at 7 yesterday, 7.5. Then now it's up to 9 with DeJounte Murray not playing in this game. We know that Jokic is padding his stats as well. Just him and Embiid are really going up against each other for the MVP. I saw that Jokic was the favorite right now. I'd have to disagree with that. I almost put some money on Embiid at plus money, especially with them possibly. I think, do they have a better record? But regardless of that, Jokic is putting up better numbers here, Rob. He's really going for MVP. He's probably going to go off again tonight. Maybe we'll look at his points, rebounds, assists. You like some of his game?
Yeah, it's funny, Jay. I went and bet it last week, and I'm not a guy who bets these MVPs, Rookie of the Year's futures, but I happen to see the NBA, the guys who vote on it, they have a straw poll taken of their votes. And last week, that vote was taken, and the guys who were going to vote on this, 68% of the votes were for Jokic. Damn. I said, well, if it's 68% already, then I'm going to go bet it because it's going to be hard to overcome for Joel Embiid. However, the media last week, go ahead.
Embiid hadn't had it before, though, right? Has he? He's never got MVP.
No.
So no. I'm sorry, I do have a little bit of that bias. Like when the guys already got MVP and Embiid is playing at this level this year, I have to give it to the guy. That's just me, though. Obviously, I'm not my vote doesn't matter, but I think Embiid has earned it, especially with Jokic already having one under his belt.
No, and we can get off the rails here for a couple of seconds because I live right here outside of Philadelphia. I watch every single Joel. He's been fantastic. To me, if you're looking for the least flawed player of size in the NBA, it's Joel Embiid. I mean, what can't that guy do? And he's carried this team without Ben Simmons all season long and the shenanigans that he pulled on this team. And so he had no supporting cast. And I get that Jokic hasn't had Murray. It was just interesting to me that 68% of the writers with 2 weeks left in the season feel like it's that wide of a gap between Jokic and Embiid. And now, off of what happened last week, all of a sudden you get the media, national media, telling us that Giannis should be the MVP again. This guy was something like 50-60 to 1 2 weeks ago, and now all of a sudden he's going to win it. So I don't know, but I do know what you're saying. Jokic is padding stats, and he's doing a great job of it right now. Without DeJounte Murray, San Antonio, they're another one of those, though, Jay, with interchangeable pieces. And I know Murray's the key to them being a really good team, or at least a more competitive team. But the rest of these guys, they all fit in, right? Whether it's Devin Vassell or whether it's Lonnie Walker IV, it just seems like they got a bunch of the same player that do the same thing. Josh Richardson, they all come in. Their position in the standings right now isn't totally secure. So I think they'll have reason to play. Denver, it's two teams that are battling for a spot here, so you should get motivation on both sides. I don't know that I agree with a push this high to 9, to tell you the truth. I think I might like the underdog plus 9 points. I don't know that San Antonio can win, but I might like them. I didn't play the game. Total sitting at 234. I'll let that pass. I'm just going to backtrack with you for 1 second here. Back to the Milwaukee game, because something I wanted to put out there for the guys watching your show, Jay. Chris Middleton, player prop, 3 of 14 from the field Sunday against Dallas. Miserable game. Feel like Chris Middleton probably bounces back here tonight. For those of you that are playing player props, just give a look into Chris Middleton tonight because I think he might be worth it. And for this game, it would probably, if I had to play gun to my head, proverbial gun to my head, I think I'd try the 9 points with San Antonio. I just don't know that one guy out. McDermott's been out for a while, so that's not new news. Right. Pirtle comes back. Pirtle didn't play last game. Maybe I try San Antonio plus 9, but it's not something I played.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's definitely a tough game there. I'd be looking at Jokic, PRA points, something, Jokic, and he's definitely going to be padding some stats, and no one to guard him on the other end as well. Let's go over here to the streets of Utah, Rob. Been getting, boy, my pocket's so fat, boy, from these Jazz, man. Oh, man. I do think they're worth the fade today, but the Grizzlies are obviously locked into the 2 seed. They're resting Dillon Brooks, obviously, so they won't have Dillon Brooks and Morant, but they get Jaren Jackson Jr. Here's why it's still Grizzlies or none for me, Rob. They got kicked out of the playoffs last year versus the Jazz, so they hate this team. They will want to beat them every single chance they get, and even though they don't have a ton to play for, they still play hard every single night. The Jazz are so dysfunctional right now. They do play better at the house. In theory, have something to play for. They can move up in the standings to get the 4 seed, but the Grizzlies hate the Jazz, and I'm right there with them. It's Grizzlies or none for me here, Rob. You like some?
All right, so I shortened this thing up and played total over first half. Memphis first half totals on the road, 8-3 over last 11. Jazz totals first half, 12-4 over last 16. I have to say, Jay, I'm picking on the Jazz defense here because why wouldn't you, right? I mean, again, Stifle Tower and all, they're not a good defensive team. End of story. And from the playoff series last year, what we learned is Memphis, just with their young legs, uses them against Utah. They're going to run. They're going to run some more, and it produces a lot of easy baskets and fast points for Memphis. Mm-hmm. We saw the other night with all the people that they benched, right? Everybody got a day of rest. Taylor Jenkins gives everybody a day of rest. And they still go out and win that game with 120-something points. So I don't think points are any problem whatsoever. I looked at the first half number, and it showed 111. I thought, how in the world aren't they going to get to 56-56 in this game? That just seems outrageous to me. So that's where I played it. I think I got it at 111.5. Wouldn't be mad at anybody who played it over the full game total because I think it'll get there too, regardless of when you take Dylan Brooks out, you take a lot of Memphis defense out as well.
Exactly.
So I like the guys. Desmond Bane, you mentioned those guys are all coming back tonight. Bane and Jaren Jackson. Plenty of points here. I'm on first half over 111.5.
Yeah, they torn in the chat. Some people liking Jazz saying they need this game more. And I'll agree with the Jazz still playing. Obviously, they need to get right for the playoffs. They need to get right game. But the Grizzlies, man, I must say, even though they're locked into their seed and some of these games, in theory, they don't have to carry about, I still think that they'll forever, when you lose to a team in the playoffs, especially lose 4-1 like the Grizzlies, like the Jazz did them, you want to smack them up every chance you get, man. You're not showing them any mercy. So I do agree that this game looks a little fishy. The Jazz could cover a spread, but the only way that I could play it is Grizzlies or nothing for me. Just on current form alone, better coach team. This Jazz team is checked out. Donovan Mitchell wants out. Quinn Snyder, he wants out. Gobert, he's getting up there in age, man, as well. It's not necessarily saying Gobert is way overpaid as well. 2 more games left, man. Let's go over to the streets of Sacramento here, Rob. We got the Pelicans here. Nobody will want to like this. Nobody will like this play. I was on the Pelicans, and it was really a bad play. They had beat the Clippers 5 straight games. The Clippers came to play. But the Pelicans said what Brandon Ingram said. We needed that game. We were on a high. We were getting a little bit too full of ourselves. We needed that. So now we can take these last 3 or 4 games serious and play them like playoff games. You know what I think the Pelicans finna do, Rob? They finna come out here and smack the shit out these Kings. Trifecta smack city spot. Pelicans first quarter -2.5, first half -4, full game -8. I'll be honest, be a little weird some of these full games, but especially because these teams are just not giving a damn. But I think we see a Pelicans 20-point smack city spot versus the Kings tonight. Kings finally start to realize, Rob, maybe we shouldn't be playing to win games. If we're gonna look towards next season, what you like here?
Yeah, no, we are on the exact same side here, Jay. It was the second play I made this morning. New Orleans minus the points. Again, when they put their minds to it and they set those 3 big guys across the middle and play some defense, they're a tough team, but it comes and goes with them, with New Orleans. We can find nights where the defense is really good and they're protecting the rim, and then we can find nights where they're lazy and they don't. So perhaps the wake-up call, the quote that you were referring to from Brandon Ingram, helps them focus on this team because this is not a difficult team to beat, Sacramento. Not difficult at all. I love Davion Mitchell, but aside from that, they don't play any defense, and their shooting comes and goes. With the exception of Harrison Barnes, there's not really a shooter on that team that I trust, Jay. And I think if New Orleans makes it difficult at the rim and Sacramento's forced to shoot perimeter-wise, could be a long night for them. I see a double-digit win here. I really do. I don't think it should be a problem, so I'm with you. I played it that way. Hey, Smack City, here we go.
Smacks, that's where we're going here. Pelicans will start this game off early, guys. As long as they come to play, been sitting around in California with their heads down. They got smacked. They were never in that game versus the Clippers. That's how the shit's gonna flip tonight. That's how this is gonna look for the Pelicans tonight. I don't see the Kings being in this game. They don't really have anything to play for. When you got Donovan, you got Davion Mitchell as your best player right now. He's not a great shooter. You will have some problems. I like guys like DiVincenzo. I like Barnes as well, but he's tired of being in Sacramento, man. This team is never going anywhere. Hey, I could go on and on about this one. Pelicans trifecta smack city spot for me. First quarter -2.5, first half -4. Full game minus the 8. Let me see. I took the team total first quarter, first half as well, guys. Let me just real quick. Let me get the officials. I took first quarter and first half team totals for the Pelicans. So what's that? First quarter team total over 29. First half team total. Yeah, I don't see it right here. I don't think I bet the first half team total yet, but should be somewhere around 57. I'm betting that one too. I'm finna bet it right now. Rob, let's go over here to the streets of Phoenix real quick. My guys in the chat let me know LeBron is out. Who cares? The Lakers season is over with. And the Suns, they don't have anything to play for, but I'm sure they'd like to kick the Lakers while they're down. Rob, what you like in this game?
Yeah, and I'm just glad, Jay, that I played this game this morning at 11.5 because now it is 13. Now that LeBron is out, and it might not make a difference. If Phoenix, when they beat people, they roll people, right? 25 is no surprise, and it's nice to see that LeBron. And I shouldn't talk because maybe the guy really is hurt, but again, you're LeBron. Your team's struggling to make the playoffs. Show up on the floor. I think he sees the writing on the wall. There's no reason to show up on the floor. I think they get murdered, to tell you the truth, tonight. Phoenix is off of 2 consecutive straight-up losses, which very rarely happens. Players are coming back tonight. They've had a little bit of rest. Chris Paul was I don't want to say he was on his own the other day because Phoenix is so deep. That's a bad thing to say. They've got plenty of players, but they'll have every player in this game here tonight. For what it's worth. And I just feel like, when they get to defense and offense and running, this game, first half is probably a real good way to go here too, Jay, because I don't think LA has a shot from the get-go in this particular contest, especially if you're a team like Phoenix, and I get there's not a ton to play for because you're number 1 in the West, but you don't want to roll into the playoffs on these losing streaks. You want to straighten things out right now while there's 2-3 games left. Let's get it back in our groove and go from there. So I think this is one of those games. Give me 125, 104, something like that. Phoenix, I think it's pretty easy cover.
Yeah, that's a good point there. The Suns should smack these guys. It's too many points for me to lay. Man, if the Lakers really are done, obviously, they're going to get smacked in this game, man. Part of me, the contrarian in me, would like to say that the Lakers going to try to bring something here because, this is the thing where I can't bet the Suns minus the points. They're locked into the number 1 seed. You don't want to get any major injury that's going to, the Suns really have playoff aspirations. Did you see the game versus the Thunder? You see what I'm saying? They played, even the guys they played, they should have still smacked them guys up. It's crazy because we never see the Suns like that. They just didn't give any effort. They're just out there playing. And when I'm watching the game, I'm thinking about it. Why would they? They have the number 1 seed clinched. They can't move up anywhere. So that's my hesitation with the Suns there, guys. Hope you guys understand. If you play the Suns, hey, I hope you smack them up. But it's just one of those games that I'm staying off of, man. It's been a long enough show. Let's get to some cash here. We got shirts, man. I just put another order in. 200 shirts, Smack Cities. We getting these in black and in gray / silver. Got more Us Against the Bookies coming as well in 4 or 5 different colors. This website's getting launched by tomorrow, my guys. So I won't even have to come on here and say it anymore. We'll have the website and you can just go straight to it and order your shirts. Glasses as well, man. Sunglasses. We're doing all that. We got glasses on there as well, man. But hit us up. Let's get to some free NBA picks. Always first, I want to let you know you can use promo code J50 for Rob Vino 3 days all access pass. Or is it a week? Rob, what's the promo code over there? How you been doing over there? What you talking, my brother?
Good NBA. Recently, Jay 7-3 last 10 plays. So we had a good weekend. I believe that promo code J50 is good for 3 days. I think it's a 3-day pass. Could be an all-week pass. I'm the wrong guy to ask because I'm a bad promo guy. I depend on others to promo me. But yeah, and NBA's been good. Obviously, last couple of years finished number 1 at Wager Talk 2 years running. So we love the NBA. Tonight, I'll go first. I'll give you a second here. I'll go with the best bet real quick here while I'm rambling on and give you guys that first half in the Memphis-Utah game. For starters, I really like that play. Over 111.5 to me. I just don't know how both sides don't get to 56, probably exceed 56. To me, that one looks real well. And I'm going to go back to the earlier game that we talked about with Philadelphia and Indiana. I've been a big proponent of just playing Indiana totals over the number. Mechanically, wake up and play it as long as the number's in a decent enough place. I think it's in a decent enough place here. Philly, we just saw them put up 144 a couple of days ago. They're capable. Give me that game over 233.5 and the first half Memphis, Utah over 111.5.
Got you. I love the looks there. I'm aligned with you on some of those as well. And D Mitch, we got 2XL, we got 3XL shirts, man. So hit me up, D Mitch. Small all the way up to 3XL. We got some for the big guys as well, man. You dig what I'm saying? But yeah, so use promo code J50. Your first purchase over there at Wager Talk or Sports Memo get you 50% off whatever's in your cart. So you can have a week, you can have a 3-day all access. It could be a week, it could be a full season, playoff package, whatever. 50% off whatever you Use promo code J50 at Wager Talk or Sports Memo exclusively for the guys that's on the show, man. For me today, man, I'll be honest, I got a bunch, but y'all are my guys. I'll share every single play that I have with you, my guys. I don't mind. You see what I'm saying? For me, let's go with first with the 76ers game. First quarter, team total over 32.5. Sixers first half, team total over 64 that I got Pelicans first quarter -2.5. Pelicans first half -4. Pelicans full game -8. Trifecta smack city spot. Also, Pelicans first quarter team total over 29. Also, first half team total over 56 as well. I'm on the Hornets. I put a little something on the Hornets plus the 5.5. I do think this game means a little bit more to them. Taking a dog with triple revenge, and I think that, like I say, I think they're the more motivated team here. Possibly Lowry. I'm expecting Lowry to sit, guys. So when I took the Hornets, I'm expecting Lowry to be out in this game. I know that Butler, the rest of the guys probably back in, but Lowry, he's their starting point guard. Could take a hit, guys. And that's it for me. I did sprinkle on some on Sixers first quarter and first half as well. I'll be honest with you. And the Grizzlies, I sprinkle a little something on the Grizzlies plus the points, my guys. Nothing official there. Like I say, these are all personal plays. Hey, you can tell, you can fade. I'm just trying to get some cash, man. Hit the like button, subscribe. Free NBA picks every single day, man. Show some love. Over 1,000 people watching live. Hit the like button, subscribe. We back tomorrow, my guys. Let's cash. I don't even know how many plays it is. Let's go undefeated. It'll be 10-0 one time for one time. Let's go, my guys. We out.